Greetings, all praise King. Day lesson on WiccaleAks. It's in the news. It's going to be in the news. You know, we put out the report. This Julian Assange is a manufactured operative. I mean, what information did he make available that is so pertinent that people, should not be paying attention to other things? Because that's key. If people are flooded with information, they're not going to learn anything but what is being presented to them. A long time ago, I heard the expression, content is king. In today's post 9/11 era, where the pretext was made to hand out these smart devices that are tapped, monitored, everything recorded, and now the culture is introduced to develop this as a norm, so that whoever's on the other side accessing the devices will be considered a god. Content is king. They are pushing the content, then they're being served by those that are doing the chewing. It's a feeding process, and it's what we could consider an exercise of conditioning. When you go around the park and they have those boards, signs, and stretch this, pull up here, and sit up there. That's an exercise, and as a result, it will condition your body. Well, in reference to this, we are concerned about the conditioning of the mind. It's mind control. And those behind the operatives call this behavior modification. At the moment, they've used personnel to develop this process. Yet it's all the information is too much for people to keep up with, so they develop the artificial intelligence that's going to monitor and track, do all the sorting and categorizing, what they call profiling. How does this tie in? Well, they need communication channels to push this information. This being one of them. Now, these communication channels are only so good if people trust them. See? If people don't trust them, then it just wasted energy. And it would go against those doing the feeding. Now, in this incident, you'll notice a few things. There's a concentration on that thing they call the law. They call it the law. Not to be funny, but we hear it so much, and if you really think, you'll know that it is not law. But nevertheless, this is what they worship, right? Because this is what they serve. Now, the man thinks that this serves him, yet when Satan requires his servants to obey, he will not reward them. Now, this goes away from them and ends up controlling and modifying their minds. Right now, there's an effort to promote these communication channels. They're all the same. This is a network, and they're pushing what they call democracy. We call it democracy. This is equivalent to common law, otherwise known as capitalism. All the same. Believe it or not. This is based on this. You can call it whatever you want, but these still exist. And they are imposed if you choose to serve and worship the beast. The associations are being made now where this company is saying, that these communication channels are under threat. The perception to the public is that because the New York Times posted the Wiccaleaks, that they're also susceptible. So there's an image portrayed as a division from these communication channels and what they call the government. Well, if they call it the government, then it must be their government. Yeah. And if their government is against them, then they should form a new nation. Yeah. The media conglomerate. And kick these guys out. So let's get realistic. What's actually happening is there's an exercise of conditioning. Yeah. They want, at the end of the process, for people to believe and trust in their rule and those communication channels that support their rule. If this fellow, Julian Assange, was such a rebel, then they would not be talking about him. This has also presented advantage or promotion to the British rule, which was to say that he was protected because he went into an embassy. At the end of the day, it leaves people feeling like the system is good, it's working. And that's because Assange is pardoned, just like his buddy Brad. And these communication channels are propped up as protectors of truth. That when all fails around you, you rely on them to set things straight.